Have you ever noticed that before life changes, everything seems to get worse? It's almost as if the universe is testing your endurance before delivering what you've been asking for. Many mistake this for bad luck, but it's quite the opposite. It's a sign that the ground is being prepared. Wealth, peace, purpose, all of these come after the chaos. But few have the eyes to recognize when chaos is actually the birth of a new cycle. And that's what we're going to talk about today. What really happens before prosperity arrives. Not what the books simplify, but what no one tells you. The invisible cleansing, the tests of faith, the subtle signs that precede the turning point. Napoleon Hill once said, "Life always tests a man before granting success." The question is, do you recognize these tests when they appear? Or do you give up inches from the gold? If you feel stuck, tired of trying, and yet know deep down that you were born for more, this video is for you. Stay with me until the end, because today you'll understand the before of abundance and learn how to navigate the valley without losing focus. So subscribe to the channel, activate the bell, and leave a like, because here you won't hear empty promises. You'll learn how to create a life of purpose, wealth, and true expansion. The pre-turn signals that arrive before the money. There are times in life when everything seems out of control. Bills fall behind, opportunities evaporate, people drift away. But what few understand is that before any expansion comes contraction. It's like pulling back on a slingshot. The further you retreat, the more force you accumulate. The universe often dismantles the current scenario to rebuild something greater. Most interpret this as failure, the wise as the harbinger of a turning point. Imagine someone who's worked hard for years, but suddenly everything goes wrong. They lose their job, their relationship ends, and their savings disappear. At first glance, it seems like bad luck, but if they keep an open mind, they'll notice new signs. A contact that comes out of nowhere, an idea that keeps coming back, a course that appears at exactly the right moment. These events aren't random. They're subtle alignments of a new cycle. Napoleon Hill said that temporary defeat is the test of faith, and he was right. The turbulent phase is the sieve that separates the curious from the committed. Those who understand the process see each obstacle as an invitation to growth, and it is precisely at this point, when chaos seems to reign, that the universe begins to clear the ground for the next level. And it is this invisible cleansing that we will discuss next. Clearing the way. People, habits, and projects that leave the scene. Every transition requires space. Before abundance comes the cleansing, silent, uncomfortable, and sometimes painful. People begin to drift away without explanation. Plans that seemed right fall apart, and old habits no longer make sense. It's the universe removing what doesn't match your new vibration. Resisting this is like trying to pour new wine into old wineskins. Inevitably, something breaks. Many mistake this phase for rejection, but it's actually a period of refinement. That friendship that no longer vibrates on the same wavelength, the job that consumes you without purpose, the habit of complaining, everything that impedes your expansion is gently pushed out of the way. When the atmosphere becomes silent, it's because the frequency is being recalibrated. Use this time to observe, not to blame yourself. A good practice is to do an energy audit. List everything that drains you, people, places, tasks, and everything that recharges you. Whatever's on the first list needs to go, even if it hurts. It's this letting go that creates space for the new to flow. And when the new arrives, it comes disguised as a challenge. Because the next step of cleansing doesn't happen outside, but inside, and manifests as seemingly unfair obstacles. Obstacles as a filter. How to cross without losing traction. Obstacles don't appear to stop you. They appear to measure how much you truly want what you say you want. When life puts you up against a wall, it's asking, do you still believe in your purpose? It's easy to maintain faith when everything flows smoothly. The true test is keeping going when nothing makes sense. That's where the divide between those who desire it and those willing to pay the price is determined. Imagine an entrepreneur who invests months in a project and suddenly loses everything in a twist. Most would give up. But those who understand the game observe, what can I learn here? Perhaps they discover that the business model was fragile, or that a more aligned team was needed. The obstacle becomes a compass, not a barrier. That's why Napoleon Hill said that every failure brings with it the seed of an equivalent benefit. The secret is to keep moving. When everything seems to be pushing you back, slow down, but don't stop. Keep planting, adjusting, persisting. Traction is born from invisible consistency, the kind no one sees but that builds a foundation. And it's in this rhythm of faith and patience that small signs begin to emerge, disguised opportunities that only the attentive can see. Small doors and synchronicities. Training the opportunity radar. Big changes rarely arrive with fireworks. They hide in small invitations, casual conversations, ideas that seem too simple to matter. The problem is that most people wait for the golden door of luck, ignoring the hinges that have already begun to move. The universe speaks softly, and only those who have learned to listen to the whisper of destiny recognize the call. Have you ever noticed how, when you're focused on something, the world seems to start showing you signs? A book appears out of nowhere. Someone mentions the topic in a conversation. A video with the exact answer pops up in your feed. This isn't coincidence, it's synchronicity. Napoleon Hill called it infinite intelligence operating behind the scenes. The secret is to act in the moment, without over-rationalizing, because opportunity doesn't wait. A good way to train this radar is to keep what I call a synchronicity notebook. Jot down coincidences, ideas, and names that repeatedly pop up. Your mind begins to recognize patterns, and over time, you begin to act before the signals dissipate. It's this state of readiness that paves the way for the next stage, when clarity transforms into direction, and purpose ceases to be a dream and becomes a plan in motion. Definite purpose, practical clarity that turns into money over time. Nothing is more powerful than someone who knows exactly what they want. Most people wander between generic dreams. I want to be rich. I want to be happy. But those who achieve something great formulate it in clear terms: how much, when, and why. Napoleon Hill said that success begins with a defined purpose. Without direction, energy is scattered. With direction, even headwinds become momentum. When a person has clarity, they don't waste energy trying to do everything at once. They learn to say no calmly and yes with conviction. Consider the example of someone who decides to start a business. If the purpose is to help people eat better, even the marketing takes on a soul. The customer feels it. Profit is a consequence of consistency. Money is attracted by clarity, not by haste. Want to discover your purpose? Grab a pen and paper and answer this question. If money were no object, what would I enjoy doing every day? The answer will show you the why, and the why sustains discipline. Because purpose doesn't just inspire, it keeps focus alive when fatigue sets in. And it's precisely this discipline, fueled by purpose, that creates consistency and paves the way for the next stage of the journey. Anti-failure discipline. Routine, metrics, and micro-wins. Discipline is the invisible link between decision and achievement. It's what separates those who merely dream from those who truly achieve. And, contrary to what many think, it's not born of force, but of purpose. When the why is clear, the how becomes easier. That's why the most productive people seem to have a natural rhythm. They don't rely on motivation. They rely on structure. To create a fail-safe discipline, you need a simple but measurable plan. For example, if your goal is to generate income, set daily action goals. Submit 3 proposals, study for 30 minutes, review your results. Write everything down. The brain responds well to visualizing progress. Each micro-victory fuels the next. It's like climbing a ladder step by step without skipping steps. And remember, discipline isn't rigidity. It's intelligent consistency. It's doing what's necessary even when there's no applause. Some call it sacrifice, others commitment. But in reality, it's training to sustain success when it arrives. Because prosperity doesn't test your will to start, but your ability to keep going. And when consistency takes hold, something magical happens. Opportunities begin to present themselves more frequently, heralding the beginning of a turnaround. The turning point: repeating opportunities and stable energy. Every financial turnaround begins quietly. At first, things just seem less difficult. Then, small coincidences arise. A client returns, an idea pans out, a conversation leads to an unexpected opportunity. The secret lies in noticing the pattern. When opportunities start recurring, the universe is telling you the season has changed. Few realize it, and even fewer act in time. This is the point at which your energy shifts from heaviness to lightness. You feel the urge to work, even for no apparent reason. Your mind, once confused, finds clarity. Decisions flow. It's as if life, after testing you, finally trusts you. Napoleon Hill said, "When faith is applied, fear loses its power." And it's precisely this faith in action that transforms effort into results. But this is also where the risk lies, confusing a turnaround with the finish line. Many relax at the first sign of victory and lose their rhythm. The true master maintains focus. He intensifies what works, protects his energy, and avoids new distractions. Because the turnaround isn't the end of the race, it's the beginning of expansion. And it's about this expansion, the art of consolidating what you've achieved, that we'll talk about next. Consolidation, financial organization, scale, and cash protection. Reaching the top is difficult, but staying there requires even more awareness. After the turnaround, enthusiasm can become the enemy in disguise. It's at this point that many lose what they've achieved, not for lack of talent, but for lack of management. Napoleon Hill warned, "Wealth without planning is like building a castle on sand. And the rain always comes." It's time to turn profit into structure. Start simple. Separate personal and business accounts, create reserves, and set weekly goals. Use spreadsheets or apps, but review your numbers every day. Money respects those who pay close attention to it. Prosperity multiplies where there's organization. Want to scale? Make what's working more productive. Reinvest, automate, train someone. Strategic growth is the secret to sustainable wealth. And remember, protecting your cash flow is protecting your peace of mind. Save some of your profits before expanding. Don't confuse movement with progress. Sometimes the best investment is to wait for the right time. The truly wealthy think in decades, not days. And those who master this art realize something beyond numbers: that prosperity is, above all, an internal state. And it is this invisible layer, the spirituality behind wealth, that we will now delve into. Spiritual layer: clear intention, applied faith, and visualization. True wealth doesn't begin in the wallet. It begins in consciousness. While many pursue money, the wise cultivate energy, purpose, and intention. Napoleon Hill said that faith is the eternal elixir that gives life to thought. This means that what you feel while acting is as important as what you do. Prosperity is about aligning emotion, belief, and action. Because the universe responds to frequency, not effort. When the intention is pure, the return is constant. If the focus is on contributing, growing, and generating value, money becomes a natural consequence. But if the motivation is to prove something to someone or escape scarcity, abundance is unsustainable. A good practice is to visualize your future with anticipated gratitude. to feel like you're already living the life you desire. This emotion creates a powerful field of attraction, long before the physical result appears. It's like tuning into a radio station. You only hear the right music when it's on the right frequency. The same is true with prosperity. It's not about forcing results, but about vibrating in the same tone as what you want to attract. And when this synchronization becomes natural, action flows without resistance. It's the perfect balance between faith and movement. And it's precisely at this point that the next step arises, transforming this energy into daily practice, into a real and measurable action plan. 7-day plan and next step. Knowing is good, but applying it changes everything. Transformation begins when knowledge takes shape in your daily routine. Therefore, I propose a simple 7-day plan to consolidate everything you've learned so far. It's not about doing a lot, but about doing it with intention. Small daily actions create a new mental pattern, and a new mental pattern creates a new reality. Day 1. Write your purpose in one clear sentence. Day 2. Eliminate 3 distractions that take you away from him. Day 3. Practice the 3-action rule. 3 moves that generate value or income. Day 4. Record small victories of the day. Day 5. Get close to someone who inspires you. Day 6. Practice 15 minutes of silence or prayer. Day 7. Review what has changed in you. It seems simple, but this cycle creates the muscle of prosperity. At the end of these 7 days, you will never be the same. Your mind will be more alert, your focus sharper, and your heart more confident. This is the secret. Action breeds clarity, and clarity sustains faith. Whoever applies it for 7 days applies it for a lifetime. And this is where the journey begins again. Because every new version of you requires a new way of thinking. And this is precisely the key that opens the next portal of your transformation. Now that you understand what really happens before the turning point, the question is simple, yet profound. What will you do with this knowledge? Will you continue to see tests as punishments, or will you start treating them as invitations? Because the difference between those who thrive and those who stop halfway lies in interpretation. Some see barriers, others see gateways. Wealth, whether financial, emotional, or spiritual, is not a destination. It's a process of refinement. Every loss, every silence, every obstacle was merely the chisel that shaped your new self. And if you've made it this far, it's because you already have within you what you need to overcome the next phase. But remember, knowledge changes nothing. Application changes everything. So tell me, what was the clearest sign you noticed on your journey? Write it in the comments. Your answer might inspire someone on the same path. And if this content touched you, like the video, share it with anyone who needs to hear it, and, most importantly, subscribe to the channel and activate notifications. Here, you will continue learning how to create wealth from the inside out, because your destiny is not to survive, it's to thrive.